The divine may not bestow upon us all that we desire, yet he graciously provides what is essential for our journey. It becomes our sacred duty to discern these gifts and harness them to forge our path ahead. In the Lane of the Giants, Chisora and Otto Wallin embodied this philosophical truth. They were engaged in the arduous ascent, having faced the champions within the division. While the prospect of attaining the title of world champion may remain elusive, it does not diminish the path or spirit. Instead, they carved their legacy as courageous participants in the noble art of pugilism, celebrated for their desired determination and the indelible mark they leave on the sport. The journey reminds us that true fulfillment lies not solely in reaching the pinnacle, but in the valor and resilience displayed along the way.
He's avoids. That's why it's so important to try and avoid the shots as he's coming forward.
And how willing in terms of his technique, his overall athletic ability.
In a matchup where Wallin as a southpaw boxer, Chisora takes on the role of the bully. For the bully to assert the dominance, one must force the boxer onto the back foot and apply heavy pressure. It's less about refined technique, but rather a measure of heart. Chisora wasted no time in setting the pace, making it clear that he intended to dictate the fight's tempo.
This boxing ring space, that will make it more difficult for Chisora to close him. That's what Wallin's got to do. See in that corner, see he's just switched.
In a relatively small ring, the advantage tilts towards the pressure fighter, as the boxer has limited room to maneuver. If the back touches the ropes, the bodies will be exposed to the pummeling of hooks. That is until they find an exit and maneuver out.
Tyson just his career, making the most, the very most.
A little bit, but again, there's not a lot landing by both boxers, but you've got to give.
In this clash of styles, the space between the two boxers are important, as Wallin is looking to keep Chisora on the outside with his jab and movement, while Chisora's puzzle is to navigate the middle ground onto the inside, where his clubbing shots thrive. Chisora's strategy for closing the distance involved employing a crossguard while crouching low. This approach proved effective for several reasons. The crossguard served as a shield against uppercuts, while his low stance compelled Wallin to punch downward, often landing blows on the forehead, the most resilient part of the tempo. By forcing Wallin to punch down, Chisora created opportunities as Wallin exposed his own head while retreating, leaving openings for Chisora's sweeping haymakers.
Here he takes positives from it, Richie. He rebuilds.
Oh, good. He's very confident going forward.
To the naked eye, it may seem like Chisora is simply throwing punches to engage in a brawl, but there's a science and a madness behind the approach. Recognizing that he was at a range to target Wallin's head, Chisora opted to jab to the body and the guard. The primary goal of these jabs was to push Wallin back against the ropes, preventing him from setting his feet. If Wallin could plant his feet, he would generate more power in his punches and better hold his ground. However, Chisora's jabs effectively kept Wallin off balance, pressing him against the ropes where the bully gets a bullying.
Problem with the southpaw, 2020, working out how Wallin is trying to do it. The jab from Wallin carries no threat whatsoever. Shots. That's a more looking forward like this. Wallin's going to need something different, Richie, I think.
Yeah, it's just.
Wallin had his moments when his punches found a home. His timing was when Chisora entered the pocket. Between his punches, adorned his recovery after landing off his shots. In the mid-round, an accidental clash of heads resulted in a significant gash beneath Chisora's eye.
Yeah.
If Chisora would be ruled out by this tonight. John Latham so much here. It doesn't look good.
They're doing here, and it's a big call. But they're happy.
The cut was bleeding, but it was only gas fuel to Chisora's fire. Refusing to let the injury slow him down or give Wallin an edge, Chisora intensified his efforts, throwing his full weight into his winging punches. While Wallin did manage to land some shots, they were few and far between. For every punch Wallin threw, Chisora responded with 3 or 4 of his own.
is this man going to get to really re-establish himself near that level for me since that night?
Derek Chisora knows he's got to get close.
Chisora so determined to put on a good performance, which he is doing.
In boxing, when you're up against a technically sound opponent, you don't try to outbox him. Instead, you force them into a brawl. And that's precisely what Chisora did. He took the fight straight to Wallin. Whenever Wallin found his footing, he managed to land punches, so it's crucial for Chisora to keep the fight scrappy. While you can block punches, it takes a defensive wizard to prevent one or two from slipping through the cracks. The pressure was building. Then the tides violently came crashing down.
Back. There's just no stopping Chisora tonight. That was a big night, and he's now the ring. The only person who seems oblivious to it is Chisora.
Wallin simply had no answer for Chisora's rough tactics. Although Chisora's approach was predictable, Wallin lacked the dynamics needed to counter it effectively. Constantly being pushed back forced Wallin to punch while moving, which significantly reduced the power behind his punches. Without enough firepower, he couldn't stop Chisora from pressing forward. Wallin rarely punished Chisora for dipping low with uppercuts, possibly because he was worried of Chisora's overhands. By not taking his chances in the center of the ring and standing his ground, Wallin often found himself in disadvantageous positions, pressed against the ropes where his options were limited. This fight truly demonstrated what happens when you're unable to slow down a big and durable fighter. If you can't derail the tracks, the train wreck is inevitable. At the age of 41, the heart of the warrior continues its beat. Chisora may lack certain skills, but heart is not among them. In his storied 17-year career, he stands as an aged warrior, having climbed the ranks repeatedly to contend for the title twice. Despite being counted out numerous times, Chisora consistently proves to the world that he remains a formidable competitor. It's easy for us to suggest that the old warrior should retire, yet we often overlook the burning spirit that propelled him to his current stature. A spirit that cannot be easily extinguished. Riding the momentum of a 3-fight win streak, Chisora's victory over Wallin was an IBF heavyweight title eliminator. Though it seems unlikely he will capture the world title, he will be held for any future opponent, even if he's seen as a gatekeeper for boxing's next great contender. For Chisora will undoubtedly bring the fire and fury of war.
War Chisora!